Ladies and gentlemen, there is a population decline going on in China. And they said this is the first population drop in 6 decades. They had a population drop in 1961 due to a famine that wiped out a portion of their population back then. So China's population fell last year for the first time in 6 decades, a historic turn that is expected to mark the start of a long period of decline in the citizens' numbers with profound implications for its economy and the world. Now, China had that one child rule, and they have been getting slammed with the pandemic going on. Now, see, China tried to perpetrate a fraud a few years back, when the pandemic was still fairly new, and they tried to make the claim that they eradicated it from their country. And everybody kept saying, nah, this is just not possible. They didn't. Now they are getting slammed by it. It's having a terrible impact over there. So, the country's National Bureau of Statistics reported a drop of roughly 850,000 people from their population of 1.4 billion in 2022, marking the first decline since 1961, the last year of China's Great Famine. That's possibly so they're now saying, and I did see the articles out there, that India actually is the most populous nation in the world. They actually have more people in India than they do in China now because of this decline. The UN experts predicted last year that India would have a population of 1.412 billion in 2022, though they did not expect the South Asian nation to overtake China until this year, but they've already overtaken China. India, however, collects population figures every 10 years, and its latest census, originally scheduled for 2021, has been delayed due to the pandemic. So, long term, UN experts see China's population shrinking by another 109 million by 2050, more than triple the decline of their previous forecast in 2019. So they said, this is due to a lot of factors, with health and welfare costs are soaring in China. The demographic and economic outlook is a lot bleaker than it was before. And, China is also, on top of the one child rule, China is also suffering a low birth rate as well. So they got a lot of things going on that's attributing to their decline in population. The country's shrinking labor force and downturn in manufacturing would further exacerbate the high prices and high inflation in the United States and Europe. Economic growth will depend on more productivity activity. So, Kang Yi, head of the National Statistic Bureau, dismissed concerns about the population decline, telling reporters the overall labor supply still exceeds demand. China's birth rate last year was just 6.77 births per 1,000 people, down from the rate of 7.52 births in 2021. It marks the lowest birth rate on record for them. The number of Chinese women bearing childbearing age, which the government defines as 25 to 35, fell by 4 million, Kang said. The death rate, the highest since 1974 during the Cultural Revolution, was 7.37 deaths per 1,000 people, which compares with the rate of 7.18 deaths per 1,000 in 2021. The one child policy impact. Much of the downturn is the result of China's one child policy imposed between 1980 and 2015, as well as sky high education costs that have put many Chinese off having more children. Yeah, they're kind of trying to open up the gates for them to have more children, but it's not really having much of an impact. I think they waited way too long to turn this thing around. I mean, they pretty much shot themselves in their own foot on this one child policy that they put in place, because they're saying there are so many men and very few females, because what China did was they wanted male babies and they were aborting female babies. If they found out they were carrying a girl, they would abort the girl. And so it's a big disproportionate size of males compared to females now. So they really screwed themselves over with that policy. So the imbalance, which is more pronounced in rural areas, has led to fewer families being formed in recent years. The fundamental reason why women do not want to have children, and see, they got a lot of stuff. You got a younger generation of women that don't want children. You got low birth rate. You still got high abortion over there in China. And then you got the pandemic that's going on. So they are getting slammed. So there's a generation of women that do not want to have children, and but the failure of society and men to take up the responsibility of raising children for women who give birth, this leads to a serious decline in their quality of life and spiritual life. So, wow. So the local governments have since in 2021 rolled out measures to encourage people to have more babies, including tax deductions. They're doing the same thing the Europeans are doing, and it never turned anything around. Long maternity leave and housing subsidies. And I've done quite a few stories on that from different nations, even paying couples to have babies, and none of it has helped to increase their population. Okay, so Jinping also in October, the government would enact further supportive policies. The measures so far, however, have done little to arrest the long term trend. Online searches for baby strollers on China's search engine has dropped 17% in 2022 and are down 41% since 2018. Searches for baby bottles are down a third since 2018. Now, those things are down, but ladies and gentlemen, the searches for elder care has jumped up eightfold in China just last year. They are really going through the same thing here among the white community. Their biggest population are elderly. It's the same way in China, just like it is here among the white community. So those searches are surging, but anything regarding baby care or anything supplies or needs for babies, that's on a decline as far as searches are concerned. The reverse is playing out in India, where Google Trends shows a 15% year on year increase in searches for baby bottles in 2022, while searches for cribs rose fivefold in India. So, I mean, it's interesting. Populations are going to shift. And I think we're going to see some of the most dramatic shifts over these next few years, and especially here in the US with such an aging population. So, y'all, please tell me what you think about this video. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.